Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys a Heart of the Swarm broadcast. And down in the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, we're going to be looking at the red Terran player, and his name is Lomo. Casted quite a few games of him already on my channel. Extremely talented Terran player. Probably had one of the best Terran versus Zergs ever. The game was called Lomo versus Coldfront. If you guys haven't seen it yet, do check it out on my channel. His opponent today is going to be an unknown player. It's going to be Barcode, and he is the blue Protoss player in the top right-hand side of the map. Before this game gets underway, I just wanted to go ahead and say, if you guys know anybody playing Heart of the Swarm and is playing at a high level, or any of the streamers, and you guys would like to have their replays casted on my channel, feel free to have them send it in to me at HDreplays@gmail.com. You know, if you guys can just get the word out, that'd be great. And I'm always looking for cool Heart of the Swarm replays to cast, especially the fun and epic ones. And that's kind of been the focus on my channel for the last couple of months, just wanting to bring you guys only the highest quality games. And so that's that. And of course, Heart of the Storm is gonna come out in a few months, but before it does, like I said before, I still want to do some Wings of Liberty games. Just haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I do want to give Wings of Liberty the correct send-off. And I'm probably gonna look into some of the later, more recent tournaments that have occurred and try to cast some of the games from there. As I understand it, there's been some pretty epic ones lately, so gonna try to get my feet wet there once more. And that's that. So that's all the announcements I had to say, and it looks like Lomo is going to be chasing down Barcode's probe here. This is going to be a Terran versus Zerg, of course. The map, Cloud Kingdom, usually it's usually considered a pretty big map, lots of expansions, and given the way the map is designed, you typically do expect to see pretty long games, so that's what I'm hoping to see here. Back over on the right-hand side of the map, it looks like Barcode is getting the gateway and the gas down right now, and we'll see if he goes for the expansion pretty soon here, which he should. Of course, the one key thing that you've been seeing Protoss players kind of play around with lately in StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm is the early ability to get the Mothership Core out, and we saw that with Bling actually in the last game I casted. He tried to get a quick Mothership Core out across the field and then go right into the Terran player's base, and he was able to get a lot of SCV kills. I think when Heart of the Storm does come out, a lot of players are going to be exploring that unit a lot, and given that the game isn't actually public yet, it's obviously still in a beta form, players still haven't discovered the optimal strategy for all these new abilities and units available to them. For example, the Zerg having a burrow available at Hatchery Tech, or Quick Reapers, or you know, there's just so many different strategies now. The Time Warp from the Mothership Core, for example. It's going to be really interesting, and I think Blizzard has been focusing a lot of its energy on trying to make the game more aggressive, more micro-intensive, and that's a good thing, especially in the early game. That's why they've introduced the Reapers, that's why they've made the Mothership Core. It's not just a defensive unit, it's also an offensive unit, and same with the Widowmine. You see a lot of Widowmine microing and whatnot as well, so very cool. And here we go. We do have a factory coming down right behind this barracks, and it looks like there is a reactor there. Now, he is not making Reapers. The one thing I thought all Terran players were going to do when the Reaper was available without a tech lab was we're going to see a lot of Reapers coming out all the time, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So my prediction wasn't entirely correct, but Lomo here is going to be going for a factory on the reactor. Will he make Hellions or will he make Widowmines to start things off with? Typically, Terran players in the beginning were experimenting a lot with Widowmines, but now what is this factory doing? All right, I was gonna say that factory's floating a little too far away, but now the Terran players have kind of settled down a little bit. They're going back to the tried and true Hellion because it's faster. It can get across the map more easily, and you can scout with it a lot better than a Widowmine can. So there, in fact, we do have 2 Hellions on the way right now, as that Stalker was able to pick off, I think that was an SCV, and it looks like Barcode's Stalker now on the way down is going to try to make something happen against Lomo's Marines here, although he's got 5 Marines at the top of the ramp, and it looks like the Stalker is just going to say, not going to risk myself just to run up a dark ramp not knowing what's up there, so I'm going to attack the tower and see if an impending attack comes, but it looks like there are Hellions on the way, and these Hellions are going to try to block the Stalker. Ooh, very nice micro right there from Lomo, and that's the kind of things that you'd expect to see from this German Terran. I've casted quite a few games of him already, and he's always shown really good micro, just incredible micro. Whoa, it's just canceled there. Something at the front door was canceled. It looks like, wow, Barcode pretty concerned here. He's going to wall in the front door. He did go for a quick Oracle, mind you, and Lomo's now got, he's got Widow Mines now in his mineral line, so unlikely this Oracle is going to be able to do much. Meanwhile, the Marines are going to try to push up through the front door, and this gateway wall is in some trouble, but I think it'll be all right with the 2 Stalkers behind. Now the Oracle is going to come in. The Widow Mines are there. It looks like the Oracle going to use its attack now, the Pulsar Beam, but if it gets too close to the mines, it will get taken down. One more mine shot is all it's going to need, and it looks like it's going to go down. Barcode gets the kill right there. And, excuse me, Lomo gets the kill right there against Barcode's Oracle. Meanwhile, Lomo looks like he's going to pull his remaining forces out of the way as he now realizes, all right, there's a Stargate back there producing air units. That's why there's a gateway wall at the front door, because he didn't have any ground units at first, but now he's got air units on, obviously, the sky, in the sky, and I've got to pull back here and defend against this impending aerial attack, and it looks like he does have a Widow Mine here, so he should be able to deal limited damage, not enough to take out the Void Ray, obviously, because Protoss units comes with shields, and it looks like the Void Ray did activate its Prismatic Beam, which is basically Void Rays when they're charged up. Once the Prismatic Beam wears off, it just goes back to being a standard old Void Ray, and it looks like Barcode now going to pull it out of the way because those 4 Marines are somewhat of a threat. Lomo there, a lot of early aggression to start this game off, and exactly what you'd expect to see in Heart of the Storm, because this is what Blizzard has been intently focused on. They want to make the game more interesting at the early stages, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. A little bit of early aggression from Lomo. Didn't quite work because there's a wall at the front door, which was really great. A great fast thinking by Barcode, because he's going for a quick Stargate. He was vulnerable on the ground, and it looks like there are some Widow Mines still out here, but he was vulnerable on the ground. That's why he walled it off with a gateway. And finally, it looks like the minefield, well, actually, one minefield is going to actually unburrow and get out of there. Was able to get 1 kill, though. So nice job right there by Lomo. Meantime, there is a Void Ray still in the bottom right-hand corner of the main base, but it's unlikely it's going to be able to get in there and do any damage because there are mines basically in the main, in the middle of the field. There's a lot of mines being used right now from Lomo, and I don't think I've seen him play a heavy mine style yet against Protoss. This should be very interesting because mines are obviously a great unit, but typically you don't see them used all that often in Heart of the Storm. Maybe just a little bit in the early game, and then most Terran players transition into something else. But it seems like for now he's going very heavy with the mines, as he's also adding on a Stargate as well. No additional production units yet, no more barracks or no more factories from Lomo, but he does have more, like I said, mines in the middle of the field, as these Stalkers are going to push out. Wow, those 2 Stalkers just got absolutely destroyed by those 2 mines, and now the mines are just going to get out of there. Very nice play right there. Meanwhile, it looks like the Void Ray is now backed up with the Warp Prism, but they could fly over the minefield. Oh, this is going to be so close, and it looks like the Void Ray goes down, but not the Warp Prism. But the Warp Prism says, oh my god, screw it, and now it's too late. He dies. He's trying to get out of the harm's way, but he ended up getting picked off by the Viking, and now it looks like Lomo going to return the favor with the medevac drop of his own. There is a Dark Shrine back there that actually ended up blocking the probe that warped it in. Dark Templar are so mean. And it looks like Lomo gonna try to get off some probe kills. He is gonna do that, just that, as the warp gates warp out some units to blockade the Hellions inside. That's why there's only 3 Hellions, because in fact there's a Widow Mine that got brought into that medevac as well. Now a Widow Mine also coming over to the natural expansion. Wow, this game is kind of crazy, and Lomo is, oh my god, he's just waiting for those probes to come back so his Widow Mines and his Hellions could just wreck them. He is going to give chase right now, going to try to get down the field, but there's a Sentry there, and Sentry is going to use the Force Field to block those Hellions in. But now, what about that Widow Mine? It looks like there is an Observer there, so finally the mines are going to get taken out, but that was a deadly attack by Lomo. How much damage was he able to kill? 26 probes? Are you serious right now? He's brought Barcode down to his knees right now, only at 23 probes, and he's continuing this assault. He's burrowed another mine down, but this time there are observers there, so the mine is going to get picked off. And finally, the attack is taken care of, although there is one last remaining mine remnant. This is like after a massive war. You know, people always say don't use landmines because afterwards, when the peace is all settled, when the dust is settled and the peace contracts have been signed, the innocent civilians die to mines, and that's exactly what's happening right here. How inhumane of the Terran player. And so Barcode here has got to bring his stalkers back and take out that mine, and he's going to do just that. Playing Minesweeper right now is basically what he's doing, just so he can get everything secured and nice and safe for everybody, all the Protoss forces. And still, you know, he's only got 28 workers. It's not a lot at all. He's down by a total of 32 workers right now, compared to the Terran player Lomo, who's now securing the 3rd expansion, sitting really nice at 104 supply. It looks like the mines are so deadly that Barcode has to use force fields to blockade these mines in and contain the threat. That's how crazy it is. Mines are still being dropped all over the place. And even, you know, before they die, they take out one stalker or two. So there it is, man. This game is just devastating to Lomo. And if you thought the Dark Templar were going to get him back in the game, guess again. Lomo's got missile turrets. Got one at the 3rd, and I think he's got one at the, yep, he's got one over at the natural as well. So not good, obviously, for the Protoss player if he wants to get back in this game. And you know, there's 2 armories now on the way as well. Lomo's got a starport with the tech lab producing banshees, so he's obviously going to take to the skies now, feeling that, all right, I've done enough damage on the ground with my ground-based units, with my mines. Now I'm going to go with some air-based units and try to finish off the game. A very, very interesting transition from the ground Terran into Sky Terran. He's actually going full-on Sky Terran right now. These have been some very weird games I've been casting, intriguing games I've been casting today. And, you know, usually most Terran players, when they go open up with Widowmine based play, they stick with the ground mech. They go with Terran tanks and Thors and all that good stuff. But Lomo is just going to say the only ground unit I'm actually going to mass produce is the Widowmine. And I'm actually even going to get the drilling claws so that the mines can be a little bit more mobile. They burrow in 1 second. And my main core army is going to be Banshees. Now, I don't know how good that's actually going to be, because Barcode is going to have Templar on the field, and feedback just absolutely dominates Banshees, because Banshees obviously come with energy for Cloak, and the more energy they have, the more susceptible they are to a feedback. So Storm is also very good against air units as well, obviously. But here we go. Lomo going to push in from the sky, drops an auto turret down, clearing the LZ right now, making sure that everything is safe, and has a comsat as well to check out what's happening on the Protoss side, who is struggling right now. Let me tell you guys, struggling to recover. He's spent the last few minutes rebuilding his probe count, which right now is actually looking pretty good. He's got 64 probes, but the problem with, you know, spending the last few minutes building up that probe count, obviously you are so far behind. Now look at the supply count. It's still, that gap has not changed. It's just shifted. Instead of being 100 supply to 50 supply, it's 144 supply to 94 supply. So there's a big differential right now in the supply counts, and Lomo is looking to capitalize, man. He's looking to end this game. He's got all these mines coming in right now, and it looks like he's going to try to end the game. He's dropping all the mines down. Oh, he's going to take out all these Templar. Meanwhile, Secret Missile coming down to hit the Templar as well, and it looks like just so much things going on. The mines were able to kill off all the Templar on the ground, and the Secret Missile, I don't know if it landed or not, but somehow Barcode was able to push this army back a little bit. He was able to drop down some feedbacks, it looks like, to push this army away. And now he's got Archons, which Archons are great against Terran air units. But what about the mines down here? He's got to be careful. He's going to lose a lot of units here if he runs this army through the minefield. Thankfully, those mines are still recharging, but not the 2 mines back there. And in a weird way, I have no idea how, but Barcode able to close the gap significantly there. Now 98 to 119. You know, I'm pretty sure he got some pretty good feedbacks off, and I guess he was able to win the fight. It's hard to say how. You know, that Banshee army, not exactly the most sturdy, and finally he cleans up the remaining mines as well, but there are more Widow mines coming in up the ramp. They're going to burrow down in front of the forge wall, and are going to look to blockade the natural from the 3rd base. Now the War Prism saving the ground units by lifting up the units, and now the remaining forces coming in to clean up the minefield. But every time Oh man, he's lost an Archon. Every time Barcode comes in here to clean up, he takes so much damage from the Sentinel missiles, which the Widow Mines give off. It's very cost inefficient. And here comes Barcode now. He is flying out across the map. He's got to do some type of return damage. He's got 3 Templars inside this War Prism, and we'll see if he can dish out anything at all. But there are mines back here now. Of course, remember those mines who do splash damage to the own SCVs, and all those storms coming down. Pretty good storms. But it looks like most of the SCVs were able to split off, so very nice micro right there from Lomo, as he actually mitigates quite a bit of the damage he would have received. Those Widow Mines, some of them have a lot of damage taken. As you can see, their health bars are now showing. But overall, I think Lomo did a pretty good job spreading out his SCVs and just ensuring that he didn't lose his entire income right there. So good attention span right there from the Terran player, but now here comes Barcode. He's got an Archon and he's got some Stalkers as well. He's gonna try to push these 2 command centers away, and he's got more than enough anti-air to take out these 2 CCs. He should actually focus on the orbital first, and that's what he's going for. Gonna put it in the red, put it on fire, and take it down. So, or will he take it down actually? That might just be saved. He should have taken a couple more shots here to finish it off, but I think Loma's going to be able to get the repair in time. 39, 40, and he gets the repair. He gets the SCVs underneath, so a mistake right there from the Protoss player. Now Widow Mines are coming in and burrowing underneath the Nexus, or potential Nexus, and taking off the probes as they come along. And in fact, the Protoss says, alright, to counter your mines, that you might hide underground, but if I have Phoenix, I'm going to pull them out. I'm gonna graviton beam them and levitate them above ground and then pick them off that way. An interesting idea here to go for Phoenix, really, because they are susceptible to the Mine Sentinel missiles as well. But we'll see. I've never seen Phoenixes being used against Widow Mines before, but apparently Barcode has some type of sick strategy here, and maybe it'll work. Or maybe it won't, I don't know, but he's been able to really close the gap. 133 supply to 160 right now, which is just amazing considering how much damage he took early on in this game. And if you look at the bank as well, it's very close, but look at all the orbital commands Lomo is building up right now. He is on 1, 2, 3, 4 bases with a ton of orbitals. The Protoss is catching up. He's gonna get the 4th and the 5th Nexus. Actually has a Ninja Nexus at the top left, but that has been comsatted. I love the position of the Widow Mines as well from Lomo, because that will be able to take out any probes that come within vicinity. But of course, it looks like Barcode is aware of that. It's going to bring his observers overhead and take those down, and actually going to graviton them out of the ground, as I said before. Meanwhile, these 2 Widow Mines are going to get picked off. It almost feels like, oh, you got to be careful right there. Like I said, Sentinel missiles do hit Widow Mine, or Sentinel missiles do hit Phoenixes, but it almost seems like this is Barcode's mine-sweeping army. A few observers and some Phoenixes going around the map, checking out, seeing if they can kill off any Widow Mines at all. And there comes a Templar. Don't know what the hell it was doing in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, but basically just being marine bait, and those 2 Marines do finish it off. Meanwhile, more mines planning down. Oh my god, these Stalkers are walking into a trap, and they're gonna take some serious damage here. Now the Observer's finally catching up, but the Observers go down to the splash damage, and oh my god, lol, battlecruisers coming out of nowhere, and holy moly, that's a lot of battlecruisers. That just could be the game right there. And there you see, I guess one of the reasons why Lomo's supply differential, why he let things got a little close, is because he was building up a BC fleet back at home, and now he's revealed his hand. That is a ton of battlecruisers, and they are pretty heavily upgraded too. 2-2 across the board. And that Nexus is probably going to go down here now. I don't think Lomo's going to waste any Yamato cannon unless he just wants to taunt and gloat. And there's no real reason to do that, really. There is a War Prism that flew into the main base but was picked off by a few Vikings. So all attempts here to counter by the Protoss have been basically stopped in their tracks. And now Barcode just says, well, I'm just going to make a ground-based attack with all I've got and cross my fingers, hope that this is going to be enough, I guess. But if those battlecruisers even decide to fly back home, I'm not sure Barcode's got enough Stalkers to deal with that. But he is going to try to pick off 2 BCs that were apart from the army. These are the new BCs coming out of the starports. Can he take them out? The Phoenix are flying in, immediately get taken out. It looks like feedback's going down, as well as the PDDs are blocking off all the Stalker attacks, and Yamato cannons are coming and just taking out so much Protoss ground troops. But will there be enough for Barcode here to take out the BCs? I don't think so. There's just too many battlecruisers at 2-2 weapons. The Stalkers are only at 1-1. Now there are only remaining Zealots underneath. and those Zealots have nowhere to run to either. So the Sky Terran army reigns supreme, and obviously a lot of that coming due to the power of the battlecruisers, but don't forget about those PDDs stopping the Stalkers' attacks, and overall just a good fight right there from Lomo. I also noted that Barcode tried to use some feedbacks down on the battlecruisers, which worked out pretty well, but he just didn't have enough energy. Didn't have enough energy to actually do enough damage to the battlecruisers, and Barcode says, F you, baby. So, alright, there it is, and Lomo is victorious. So, interesting. I thought the funniest one of this game was coming out with the battlecruisers. I did not even expect to see them not coming out in those large quantities, but then like 10 of them popped up on the left-hand side of the map. I was like, what the hell? And after those came out, I was just like, well, that's pretty much over. So Lomo showcasing his pretty awesome Sky Terran skills right there. Look at how many gateways are back at home. My God. So very, very nice game. 27 minutes. And Barcode and Lomo getting into it and showcasing some pretty good micro across the board. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you guys know anybody playing Heart of the Storm at a high level, feel free to have them send their replays in at hdreplays@gmail.com. For now, this is HD StarCraft, and I'm signing out.